Hey, Spuddies, Potato Big Whiskey here, and welcome to Civilization VII, the preview. I'm allowed to bring you 1 hour of gameplay, and we're going to be playing as Tecumseh of the Mississippian Empire, and the hour begins now. Oh, baby, look at this map. I just want to show you, okay? Now, this is a preview, so there are certain things that I am not allowed to show you, okay? Certain secrets that I must keep from you. But one thing I am not required to keep a secret is how gorgeous this map is. I mean, look at, I wish I could zoom in more to show you how beautiful these units are. I love that they, look at them. They're so beautiful. Look at Tecumseh's model, okay? Look at him holding this axe like it's a book. He's like, yeah, I got an axe, but I'm not going to use it. I could, but I'm not going to. This unit model, this character model, fantastic. Love it. I know, I'm all squeamish. So, just for a little bit of context, this is my second ever game of Civilization VII. With a caveat that I tried to start this game twice and messed up because I wasn't on Deity. And this is going to be my first ever attempt at Deity in Civilization VII. I do not know what is in store, but I do know that I think this game is really pretty. Now, there's a few points of order. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to handle settling our city. Now, I want to talk a little bit about settling your city, because in Civilization VII, much like all Civ games that came before it, there will be the eternal debate. Do you settle in place or do you move? And I believe the correct answer is, we are looking at a navigable river, and as far as I'm aware, all navigable rivers lead to the water. So I think I'm going to settle on this navigable river, as it will lead to coast most likely. But that is just a gorgeous, gorgeous landscape. Now, this is our founder unit. It is not a settler. Just to be clear, this is not a settler. It is a founder. It is a unique unit that creates a special building when it creates a city, right? So we settled Cahokia right there, and this is our palace. And I want you to just look at how gorgeous that palace is with the like little spiral gardens, little swirls, all that stuff. And then you've got the Mississippian houses. These are, some of them are like thatch houses. They're just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, when you settle your palace, you're going to start earning. If we go to our city screen here, I can kind of show you the palace. The palace gives you 5 food, 5 production, and 5 happiness per turn. I believe you also make 5 gold per turn, just innately, as well as 10 science, 10 culture, and 10 diplomatic favor. Now, I have interacted with a special system inside Civilization VII called the Memento system, which is a bit of a meta progression thing. By the time you're seeing this video, the dev diary on it will have come out. I think it was literally today. I'm recording this the day before, hours before it's actually meant to go out, because I only just finished my very first full playthrough of Civilization VII. And so I have Complaint to Ea Nasir, which gets me +1 economic attribute point, and the Treaty of Kadesh, which gets me +1 diplomatic attribute point. And the reason that I picked both of them is because I think this fits very nicely the way that Tecumseh and the Mississippian Empire likes to play, okay? I get +1 food and production per age in settlements for every city-state that I'm suzerain of. Now, settlements include cities and towns. There's a difference between cities and towns. Basically, anything with a name on it on the map that I control, I will get +1 food and production in that town. For towns, this is effectively +1 gold per city-state that I'm suzerain of. And so I took diplomatic attributes because that will allow me to come in here, go to the diplomatic attribute tree. Think of this as a little bit like your Civilization V social policy. Civilization V players might be more familiar with that. I don't think there's really an analog for this in Civ 6. You might think of like, this could be like your governor sort of area of the game. It's not quite that, but it's in that direction. And so I'm going to take the +1 influence per age on the palace. And this is effectively a 10% increase in the influence I make per turn. I'm also going to come to the leader attribute here, and I'm going to take 1 gold per age on the palace and city halls. City halls are not the same as town centers. I forget the actual name of town centers, but now I am making 6 gold, so I'm making 20% more gold per turn than I was moments ago, and 10% more influence per turn than I was moments ago. And the reason I picked those is because Tecumseh is very much so, as are the Mississippians, focused on city-states and trade. You can see here, the Watonathi is a Mississippian unique merchant who can establish a trade route to import resources from a foreign settlement, and it gains 25 gold per resource acquired. So, very trade-oriented, and they love resources, you can see here, and a lot of the economic attribute points, like these things in here, they scale off of resources and trade. So you can see here, +2 gold for every active trade route, +1 gold for every imported resource, extra resource capacity in your cities, all these beautiful things that we can talk about in the long term of the gameplay, right? Now, I'm only going to show you an hour of footage, so I got to work fast. So something unique and different about Civilization VII that you will have already noticed is that we do not start with a scout or a warrior. We get to choose, right? The very first unit that you build in your capital city, it's quote unquote free, aka it takes a single turn. So next turn I can have either a scout or a warrior. I'm going to go for the scout. Let's go to our next turn. We have handled the first turn. Next turn we're going to research agriculture, which will give us access to the granary as well as +1 food on our farms. And in 13 turns we will research chiefdom, which will give us access to our basic social policies. So let's go ahead and pop to the next turn. Bish bash bosh, our little scout has appeared. He has a dog. I like the dogs. The dogs have like spiky collars on. It's really cool. Now, when you're playing Civilization 7, if you're a Civ 6 player who watched my channel frequently, you are going to be familiar with holding Alt and left clicking and rotating the screen. Let me tell you, boys, it works in this game too. If I scroll down this way and I hold Alt, you can see that's the ice wall, okay? We're living on a flat Earth. We can't go past this point. So I know now that I'm to the south of the map. So I know the most competitive directions that I want to scout in are going to be northerly. So I'm going to scout northeast. I'm going to move to this silk tile because I know that it's going to be more competitive to scout this direction than it is this direction. It's unlikely, but possible, that there are players to my south. And you can also tell, like, if I just keep scrolling here, there's the ice wall on the north of the map. We are playing on the biggest map that's available, I believe, which is a standard map size. I can't wait to see how crazy they're going to go in this game. Now, we do need to pick a technology now that we have settled our capital. And we have 3 choices. We can go for sailing, we have pottery, and we have animal husbandry. I'm a big fan of pottery. I really like the pottery into writing opener. It's a very nice tech-based opener. I do also really like the animal husbandry into masonry opener, which might be a little bit better for someone like Tecumseh because this monument building has that +1 influence on it, which would be a significant amount of influence for us to get towards making friends with city-states. +1 influence per turn is a lot. It also gives us access to our Burning Arrow unique unit. So I'm going to go for animal husbandry. That very much so feels like a Tecumseh Mississippian culture direction. Now I can build more scouts and warriors, or I could build a granary. I'm not going to build a granary for now because I want to show you a cute little trick that you can do with that. Instead, I'm going to get started on a scout. I like to get minimum 2 scouts. I like 3. 3 scouts. It also depends on like how soon you see bad guys. So I'm going to step on over to this area, and I'm hoping to find things like this. Yes, a luxurious encampment. This is your goody huts. Now, luxurious encampments are a type of goody hut. It's beautiful. It kind of reminds me of the trader from Stardew Valley. We have that little wagon. This will typically give you some sort of either culture or happiness choice. Happiness being used to trigger celebrations, which allows you to plug in more social policy cards. Now we get to grow our capital. And I think one of the first things that you want to be getting your hands on early in the game are resources. In particular, if you look here, we've got 3 resources within a reasonable range of our city. Like if I grow to this farm and then I grow to this silk, we will get a 10% culture bonus in our town. And this town isn't really making much culture as it currently stands, so I don't think that really does a huge amount for us. We are working on saw pits, so it could be a good idea for us. If I go in here, you can see at animal husbandry, we'll get +1 production on camps and woodcutters. If I grow to this tile here, you can see this is a woodcutter. These 3 are woodcutter tiles. This is a farm tile. This is a fishing boat tile. If I grow to this, we will get +1 culture and +1 happiness. But once we finish woodcutting technology, animal husbandry, we will actually be able to get a +1 production off this, and eventually +2 production. So these are actually production tiles. They're just not production tiles yet. So I'm going to grab one of those vegetated tiles, which is what they're called now. You can see here, Taiga Vegetated. They kind of changed how the layers of the map work. You can see this is flat grassland, and then this is flat grassland vegetated. It's all very interesting, all very exciting. Oh, so let's go ahead and jump on over to this luxurious encampment. And this is going to trigger a narrative event to do with this. So no longer do you just step on it and you get a reward. Now you get a little pop-up like traveling merchants to set up a fair at a crossroads. And then we can choose, do we want happiness or do we want culture? Now I think a little bit of culture early to get that first chiefdom down is super strong. So I'm going to go for the culture there. And we will pop in to the next turn. I'm going to step 1 tile to the left, and I'm going to use my scout's new ability. It's called Search. Basically, it gives the scout +1 vision range for 1 turn, and it also allows the scout to scan for more of those discoveries, those nice little goody huts that are in range. So you can see over here, we did a scan. So we did like a reveal of the map. And now over here, we can see that there's a campfire and a tent camp that are going to be worth us to send him in this direction to explore. And I really like the way the scouts work now. I think it's a lot of fun. There's also a super overpowered memento bonus that gives your scout +3 movement or +3 vision range on the scout. And it's bonkers, okay? Like you're practically like orbital scanning the map on turn 1 with your scout. It's bonkers. It's super fun. Okay, seeing all these aggressive units to the south is going to kind of shape the pathways of my early game. Rather than going 3 scouts, which I would normally do, I might go 2 scouts in plus a warrior, or I might go 3 scouts warrior, because I'm going to need to be able to A, fight off these enemy scouts, because once they find me, I'm pretty sure they will go look for their independent camp. Now these are not barbarians, okay? The terminology barbarian is outdated and outmoded, okay? These are independent people, and they have a settlement somewhere in the fog of war, and if I can find it and befriend them, they will become a city-state. So that's important to note. They are not only hostile, they can be hostile, but they are not only hostile. Now, Cahokia has grown, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this Jade. It's a 15% gold boost in a city that doesn't have much gold, but it is also +1 food, +1 culture, +1 happiness. We have a very strong happiness and culture opening here. I've got some iron outside of the range of our city. We have built a scout. I think I should get a warrior and send them south. I'm going to send my scout to the west. And I like that I can see some gypsum over here. That would be a really nice thing to expand to. So I'm going to do I'm tapping my nose right here. I'm telling you a secret here. Don't tell the developers about this, okay? It may not be intended. But what you can do is you can take a granary. And you see this tile here that I'm working with my population. See how it's yellow? If I place the granary here, okay, we convert this to an urban tile. It removes the woodcutter that was on there, and then I get to place him again, which means I can now start moving towards this gypsum. It's probably intended, but I don't actually want to build that granary, so I just cancel it. Now, this has locked me in to this being an urban tile, and I have to finish this urban tile before I can place a new one. You can see here, the game is like, nah. You place that urban tile, you gotta finish it. But that is a great way in the early game to shift around your population towards important resources like gypsum over here that will help us grow. Now, I think I'm gonna open with a warrior here because I am expecting, with the number of aggressive independent people that I've met so far, I'm expecting to get attacked. Now we could choose here to set traps to gain science and food. The extra food would massively boost the rate at which my capital would grow, which would allow me to grow to the gypsum much faster, which would allow me to produce stuff faster. So I'm going to take the traps here. That will also finish animal husbandry, getting me access to the saw pit, as well as +1 production on camps and woodcutters, as well as +1 food on pastures, and access to the burning arrow, the Mississippian unique ranged unit that has increased bombard strength, does +3 combat strength against ranged unit, applies the burning status to tiles for 2 turns, and can actually unlock new abilities in the Mississippian culture tree, which we're going to unlock next turn. So, negotiation tactics. After much debate, local chiefs refused to join Tecumseh's confederacy. So, Tecumseh snaps his peace pipe, or he snaps his pipe, and he's like, all right, let's see it happen. So I get 25 influence. That event happens, I think, when you're playing Tecumseh and you find an independent peoples, a hostile one in particular. I am going to go for masonry here because the monument feels like a really good building when you're playing Tecumseh. +1 diplomatic favor per turn it's quite hard to get diplomatic favor. It is a difficult resource to get a hold of. Like, if you look around here, there's basically nothing in the tech tree that gives you diplo favor except for monuments. And when you're playing Tecumseh, you need this diplo favor, because if I come over here to Khotan and I talk to these guys, it's 170 influence to make friends with them, and I'm only making 11 per turn. And that's going to take a long time for them to make friends. I'm going to want to spend more influence to speed up the rate at which I make friends with them. So influence, you need a lot. I actually find Augustus is really good in the early game at converting city-states because he can build culture buildings in his towns with gold, which I don't even know how to explain, but it like supercharges your early game. Now, because I have a lot of aggressive city-states around, I'm going to go for discipline because I want that free army commander here. I could go for mysticism to go for a pantheon, which I personally love doing. And I do eventually want to get a code of laws because I want that +2 influence per turn from oratory. Again, we're a city-state heavy build because we're playing Tecumseh. But I want to get discipline first. +1 movement speed and sight on scouts is really good, and a free army commander will help us a lot because we'll be able to gather experience and promotions from fighting the neutrals. Now, in my opinion, either Classical Republic, I mean, all of these are viable for Tecumseh, but unless you're going to go for some sort of aggressive build, I don't think you need to go for despotism. I think Oligarchy is the best for Tecumseh because he has a lot of buffs towards food and production. And Classical Republic is great if you want to go for a Wonder Golden Age in the ancient antiquity era. I'm going to go for Oligarchy because I love 20% food. I love growing fast. And like in all Civ games, production is king. Toolmaking is just so crazy strong. It's hard for me to not take it. Now I'm going to sneak over here and grab this tent camp from under the nose of Khotan, spending a single Turn of happiness to improve relations with Khotan. Oh, that's amazing. They dislike me less. That's kind of neat, actually. I did not know that that was an option. I've never seen that event before. That's quite cool. And it looks like we just got to pop up here. We have discovered a new continent. So if I open up this lens map mode here and I click on continent, you can see there's a gap here. This is Valbra, and we are on Panoitia. And we are navigating down this river. It looks like we have found the coast and Divodurum, which is another aggressive Belgae people. This is a militaristic city-state potential, and so is Khotan. So we might be encouraged here to go into a militaristic direction, which kind of feels appropriate for the warrior. I do want to build a saw pit as soon as possible. That's a +2 production tile right there. And there is a really nice 1 food 2 production location for it. So we'll get that started. I cannot move onto coastal tiles yet, so I'm going to step up here and then tap the search button to see if I can find any nice little discoveries. Nothing found just at the moment. I'm going to step 1 tile to the north and tap the search function. Oh, what did we find? Okay, so we found a cairn over there and a tent camp up here. I'm going to go grab that tent camp first. I would love to get another scout. I really do like to get 3 scouts. Like 2 scouts does not feel like enough. A flood that improved this river. Amazing. That's going to happen all throughout the game. So we're going to have to think about that and how we want to make use of that. Our city is ready to grow. I'm going to grow to the gypsum. It's 1 food, 1 science, 1 happiness. But remember, we're getting a resource that gives +2 production to our capital. So that's really great. And that will automatically be assigned to our capital, giving us that +2 production. So fantastic. I want a 3rd scout and a burning arrow before we get this lumber mill, the saw pit. I love unit heavy early games. I think it's a very important thing for you to do is to focus on units early. Kind of taking a look at the settler map mode here, what I may need to do, because we are getting to the point where we should start considering settlers within the next like 10 turns. We want to consider where we want to settle our first cities. Let me step up here. Oh, look at these beautiful mountains and jungles. They really nailed. They were going for trying to make a diorama look, and I really do think that they nailed it. I really, it's one of the areas of the game that's hard not to be impressed just by looking at it. All right, let's move along. So we can trade with the hunters. We can negotiate and get 45 influence. Now, negotiating is huge. That's so many turns of influence. The question is, do we want to keep Divodurum around? This could be a really good fishing village later on in the game for us. But the problem is it kind of blocks some potentially really good settlements for us in the nearby area. So maybe we don't want to keep them around. Maybe we want to keep them around and we want to annex them. Maybe we want to fight them and kill them. Clearing them can be quite valuable. The world is our, mullah. In terms of settler, I think Khotan could make a really good ancient era city, or at least a town. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to Khotan and I'm going to befriend that independent. And because we had gotten a bonus to our relationship, instead of taking 30 turns, they're only going to take 25. So we started with an extra 10 happiness friendship, right? And so 25 turns from now, they will become a city-state. 10 turns from now, they will no longer be hostile to us. And 18 turns from now, they will give us a gift. So that cost us some influence, right? But I do think having city-states, particularly as Tekam said, because of the bonuses we have from city-states, I think that's worth it. Right, let's step a tile. And we'll do a search function. Oh, look at that big scout. That very much paid off. We've got like a luxurious encampment over here. We've got a campfire over here. Nothing to the east, so I'm definitely going to explore this way. Let's bring the scout to the north. Ooh, looks like there is a slinger who is hostile. Owie. I'll scout north with you. Oh, we found Torre del Paine. Look at that beautiful mountain. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, we definitely want to settle that. So, Torre del Paine is a natural wonder, and annexing the natural wonder tiles has benefits. You can see here it gives 2 food, 4 happiness to the town that it's annexed to. But also this has a special ability. Land units that move next to the Torre del Paine ignore rough terrain for the rest of the game. I do think the tooltips need like a little bit of work, but they're serviceable. Yeah, this river is just flooding and flooding and flooding and flooding and flooding. So I have my scout here. Let's go step onto the cairn. We've found Forgotten Waterworks. We can get 15 production to Cahokia, or we can get 30 food to Cahokia. We're going to struggle to grow for a little while, so I think I'm actually going to take the food here, because that will shave 5 turns off of our growth. We have a pretty good production line here. We got 10 production per turn. Like, I'm feeling okay about that. I'm generally feeling okay about our opening. I'm surprised that I have not found another player yet, but we will make our way over to that luxurious encampment. I love the way the tiles slide up. I think it's gorgeous. Let's see if we can zip over to this river. We got another cairn here. And I think there's a different type of event associated with each sort of... I'm looking forward to getting our military commander so we can get them leveled up, get some reps in fighting these guys. I may kill Divodurum. It depends on who I find and, when and how and all that sort of stuff. There's no real point attacking this scout without a military commander nearby because we don't get experience. Okay, so we've got Guth Hiuda. Now we can befriend these guys too, if we so wish. That's always an option. Let's step onto the cairn. We can lose the unit and 300 gold to get some kind of benefit, or we can get 20 food to the nearest settlement. Ooh, I'm just going to get the food. Now you can see these river tiles are starting to get really stacked up from the floods, but they do require a lot of micro because you have to constantly repair them. So I'm going to grab a second copy of gypsum because it's another 2 production in the capital, but more importantly, it's production I can move out of the capital later on in the game. And also, I do feel like Tecumseh really leans himself towards either economic or military, and in a slight way, potentially culture. You want to get at least 1 culture pip per era so that you're getting those diplomatic attribute points. But he is very much so, particularly the Mississippians lean really hard into the economic legacy because it gets you, it's very resource focused, and the Mississippian culture loves resources, right? Buildings receive food adjacency for resources. We can get the Monk's Mound, which is our unique wonder, or rather our emblematic wonder that we get a bonus towards. You can see here the Monk's Mound. It gives you +4 resource capacity in the settlement that you build it. Very cool. We would like to build that, but we have some fish to fry. Not necessarily bigger fish. Not necessarily bigger fish, but fish. Cahokia can build settlers now, by the way, and I would love to settle near the Torre de Paine. Let's have a look at our settler map mode. And definitely in Civilization 7, I think more so than any other Civ game that I've played, spacing your cities out is actually not as bad as it was in Civ 6. I think it pays off to have cities spaced pretty far out. There are disadvantages, but if you can make it, it's a long-term gamble, but man, does it pay off. I'm going to tell this scout to keep on moving. I don't want him to get killed by a river flood, so I'll move him on north. Let's grab this luxurious camp. We did find a chill city-state. We can get happiness towards our celebration or production to Cahokia. Happiness is quite hard to get in the early game, and celebrations are very powerful. So I'm going to grab that celebration in particular because our celebration will also give us a boost to our production towards buildings and stuff like that. And we are building a saw pit right now. I would also like to build a granary. It'll take us some time to get all that stuff together. We have our burning arrow. I'm just going to press F on this burning arrow, so they're going to build fortifications around our capital. It'll take a couple of turns, but you will see the fortifications appear. I'll scout over here. We found Acmonia, another city that we can make friends with. It looks like this slinger hit our scout. I'm going to get my scout to zip on down to the south, try to escape these slingers, and I will also scout north up here. Very nice. You can go grab this campfire for me. I have mostly scouted to my left and up, but that's because I want to try to control this coastline if I can. Step onto the salt. This is definitely a very nice settlement. Very good potential here. So I think Gothaida will be befriended and annexed eventually. Let's move up this way. This is a coastal edifice. You need to have a seagoing vessel. Well, a coastal sea vessel going that can do that. Bad guys are still chasing me. Move on to the Cowlin. All right, 4 turns until we get our free army commander. I'll move my burning arrow, but you can see now this tile is fortified, making it harder to attack by our enemies. All right, 6. So we have enough happiness now to trigger a celebration, and I'm going to go for the production towards buildings. 30% production is great, and now I can also add an extra social policy card, and I'm going to take charismatic leader for the +2 culture per turn, which will speed up discipline. And now getting the granary and the saw pit over the next few turns will be a lot cheaper. I think I'm going to build a granary here, because this is a fantastic location. Certain buildings scale off of resource adjacency, and this is a double resource tile. So if I'm able to build a science building here, for example, which do scale off of resource adjacency, that would be amazing. So I'm going to put a granary here to expand my urban tiles out to this nice spot. God, I'm still being chased by these slingers, so I'm going to see if I can get out of here. We've got some great land to our east. Let's step forward a tile and we'll trigger a search. So we can kind of get a better vision of things. Okay, there's nothing really here, so we'll move 2 turns before we really do another search. And it looks like I have found the borders of Amina, the Egyptian Empire. And it looks like we're really far away, right? If you look at this distance, it looks like we're really far away. Let me tell you, with army commanders and a few cities between us, she's going to feel like a neighbor very soon. So we got to be ready. It looks like an enemy unit has entered into our territory. I'm going to shoot you, and I'll start bringing my warrior back home. We'll want to defend. And I'm going to use my gold to purchase another burning arrow, because that's our unique unit. We'll go to the next turn. So we could spend 3 turns of production at Cahokia, or just get 30 signs. I'm going to take the 30 signs, because that will finish masonry. So now we can build ancient walls, which gives 100 health to the district and 15 combat strength to units defending on the tile. Fortified districts need to be conquered to capture a settlement. So you either have to capture the city center or the city center plus all fortified districts. This is an antiquity fortification. We've got monument, +2 culture, +1 influence. It also gets culture from mountains and natural wonders. Every building gets a wonder adjacency, so you don't have to worry about that one. And we can also build the pyramids. We might try to build the pyramids, although we might not. I don't know. I don't know if we really have it in us to build the pyramids this early. Now, we could also choose to master masonry, which would give us combat strength on fortified districts and production on production buildings, or we could go for pottery to get the brickyard. Food on plantations, production on clay pits. And if we go to gypsum mines here, these actually do have, these are quarries, which means I believe the pottery building here, yeah, it's +1 production on clay pits, mines, and quarries. So we do want the brickyard to sort of quote unquote fill that out, like I filled your mom out. I want that production on clay pits. I want that production on plantation. So I'm going to take pottery. So do nothing which is of no use. This is Miyamoto Musashi. We have a +1 movement for our scouts. We have the Dur Sharakuan, which acts as a fortified district that must be conquered. It gives +3 combat strength to fortified districts in all settlements. It unlocks the army commander, and we get a free army commander. Now, the really unique ability of army commanders is that they can gather and spend experience. So you can see here, when I attacked, this unit did not level up previously. I'm going to move my warrior back to a safer distance. I'm going to kind of retreat from this. My army commander right now, as it stands, has 0 experience out of 15. So if I start shooting with my burning arrow on tiles within his area of influence, he will start to gain experience. Now, the burning arrow people, they only have 15 range strength, which isn't a lot this early into the game. But the really powerful thing is that they don't get to hit us back. And the nice thing about army commanders is they can hold the line pretty well. So narrative choice, we can get culture, we can get gold. I'm going to take the gold. Gold's a little bit hard to get in the early game. Now we could go for discipline 2, which would give us combat strength against independent powers. I would rather get to code of laws, so I'm going to go for mysticism here, so we can get our pantheon. I want to start getting religion stuff going. Let's keep our scout moving. We have found nothing up here, and that's not a reason to stop scouting. Just is what it is. We'll do a little scan on the coast here, and then we'll heal up. I feel like we've done a pretty good job of scouting the western side of the continent. We're going to start moving east now to see what we can find. I'll let this scout heal up a couple turns. Now this guy moved forward to melee attack us, and he did 47 damage, which is a pretty significant amount. But by smashing this guy and setting his tile on fire, this is a cliff. I don't think they'll be able to get up here to damage us, but we can set this guy on fire again. Now, my personal opinion is units should take less damage from ranged attacks as they take damage, right? Because there's less dudes to hit. That just feels logical to me. But I'm not going to complain about the fact that I'm doing a bunch of extra damage to this guy and should probably kill him this turn. This got me a promotion on my army commander. I'm going to go for Zeal. Well, Steadfast would be quite good for keeping your ranged units alive. It's +2 combat strength within the command radius when they're defending. So I'll take Bastion's Steadfast ability here, particularly for my ranged combat units who are going to be getting hit here. I think that's a good one. Let's step forward 1 tile, and then we will trigger a search action. And it looks like we have found a ruin up here to the north, so why don't you go grab that for me? And I almost have the resources that I need to befriend another city-state. Khotan is 15 turns away. Army commanders cannot attack themselves. They do have a combat strength on the defense, but they do not attack. So they jumped into melee, and our burning arrow took a big chunk of damage. I'm going to get them to heal up. I'm going to get my units to heal. I will move my burning arrow and my army commander to the south for the purpose of holding off Gothaida. I will almost certainly be befriending these guys. Cahokia has finished its buildings. Let's pop in here. We don't need to repair any buildings. I think we still do have a celebration in effect, which would allow us to build faster for a couple of turns. And getting that +1 Diplo influence per turn is so strong. It's actually crazy how good early Diplo influence is. So I think I'm going to place it on this tile because I want my urban district to allow me to put libraries and stuff here later. All right, so let's build a monument there. We're spacing the city out a little bit. Now that we have a really good baseline production in the city, I think it would be good for us to get some of these grasslands with the food and the happy on it, especially because it'll also expand us towards the silk, which is another sort of nice resource for us. We are delaying our settlers a lot here, but +1 diplomatic points per turn is just so damn powerful. Diplomatic influence when it comes to dealing with city-states is just so damn good. Our warrior is mostly healed up, so I'm going to move him in front of our burning arrow. We're going to shoot with our burning arrow to gain experience. You really want to be leveling these guys up early into the game. So even if you plan to befriend a city-state, like I do with Gothaida, it's actually fine to fight them a little bit. Okay, so we have found Augustus to our east. Nice to meet you, Augustus. Unfortunately, I don't have the resources since I just befriended. I can't give them a friendly greeting. I will give him a neutral greeting. Nice to meet you. Now, we can engage in many different diplomatic things with him, but I just want you to look, okay? I've never looked at this in Deity. When I hover over my face over here, it's going to reveal how many yields we have in all categories. And I just really want to know what the Deity AI bonuses look like here. Oh my god, he's destroying me. He's got 3 times my gold, nearly twice my science. He's got triple my culture, double my happiness. Okay, at the very least, he's only on 1 city. Jesus Christ. Deity AI, guys, absolutely not a slouch. Now, +1 food on plantations, +1 production on clay. Perfect. So we definitely want to build that. Let's pop this scout and then attack with our warrior. We're just looking for experience right now. I'll move my army commander to split the difference between these 2 units. We're halfway to the level 2 on the commander, which is great. This unit is still healing up. I definitely want to research libraries. +2 science becomes +4 science and +2 food on this double resource adjacency tile, so that's great for us. Let's step 1 tile towards Rome and then do a scout. So we can see Roma is here. He's already got his legatus out, and his legatus has what look to be legions and warriors inside them. Ooh, he's going to be scary if he comes at me. I need to get settlers out there in his face as soon as possible. Now, I would love to be building the brickyard, and it may be worth it for us to build a brickyard. I'm trying to see, do I have any other good adjacency tiles? There's a nice mountain adjacency tile up here, but I would require the fishing boat thing to get to that. That's fine. That'll be for later eras. We'll worry about that. I do think I should build the brickyard first because it's 4 production per turn, which is like a 25% increase in our production. And it's also culture and science on these tiles. So yeah, we will get the brickyard first. Okay, let's take a look here. Somebody has built the Dur Sharakun. The Tiber River has flooded. I am definitely trailing in culture against the Roman Empire. My yields are a little bit better balanced and I have a lot more influence than him. Part of the problem is I found so many aggressive city-states. Let's send our scout over here to the east to begin exploring. We shall move our Burning Arrow to the south. Keep our army commander with our units. We want to kill this warrior, but not the one on the town. Okay, awesome. An orator has attracted an adept audience of rapt congregants. I'm going to get that production. Ooh, but the happiness towards celebrations, that's so much happiness. When I already have a really good production line, I'm going to take that happiness so we get our celebrations faster. All right, that's a lot more noise than I was expecting from the Goths. I'm going to do what I call a pro maneuver. This warrior can only move 1 tile, but if I scoop him up with my commander, I can scoop him out of the battle to a safe distance. Basically doing a tactical retreat, which is one of the things I love about the army commanders is the micro potential that they offer a highly skilled player who knows how to use them to keep your units alive and, you know, moving around and stuff. Very high. Okay, this is perfect. I'm going to vomit out my unit here, shoot this guy twice with ranged attacks, softening him up. Hopefully my commander doesn't take too much damage. Enemy slinger here. Let's do a search. There probably won't be much around Rome. Rome tends to go heavy on the military units, and this Legatus looks like he's looking for trouble with Acmona. I may not invest in Acmona. Gungne would be a great pickup too. It's an economic city-state. All right, Brickyard is coming along. Oh, I got shot. Run. We got a narrative choice here. Khotan have sent us a bonus. We got a free warrior from them. That's fabulous. Now, we're going to shoot this warrior on this tile. I forgot to move my commander into range to gather the experience. It's fine. You miss out on a little bit of experience here or there. It's not going to ruin your game. I'll fortify with my unit here. We can grow to a new tile. I think I would like to grow to the silk. I'm trying to remember, how many resources do I have assigned? I only have 3 resources, so I can afford to get another one. Like, it won't just be sitting there doing nothing for me, so I'll grab that 3 food, 1 culture tile right there, and that'll get us a nice boost to our culture. So we're not quite catching up with August, but we're not as far behind as we were. And then I'm going to start cranking out settlers. Now that we're a 10 pop city, I do like that in this game you can like slow down your settling slightly. You don't have to, I don't feel as rushed to get settlers out. There is a lot of benefits to getting your settlers out, but your empire-wide development is also quite important. All right, let's shoot this guy once, shoot him again. My army commander has leveled up, so I have a few choices here. I can go for hold the line, which gives land units stationed on a district extra combat strength, faster fortification construction, extra combat strength from fortifications, healing after attacking. I think what I would really like is to grab Zeal here. This will give me 5% to all yields in a settlement when stationed on a district. This is like a 5% resource boost when I park this army commander on my capital or something. But I am kind of in the middle of using him. Mobility is very strong. Being able to move the commander around, and when he packs units up, he ignores terrain movement restrictions. This allows you to use your commander as basically like a ferry for units around the battlefield. So now he's providing defensive bonuses, and he moves further. I'm going to attack here to clean this unit up, hopefully getting myself a nice boost of experience. Only 1 experience. I'm going to pop my commander back a tile, pop this unit into my commander, move my commander forward, ready to vomit this unit out next turn. And I want you to step 1 tile to the left and then another tile to the left. Akmona is, me and Rome are very close. I need to get a settler out here. In particular, I want to get this mountain under my control. There's a lot of nice resources here that we could control too. So I'm going to like just do the mental math. I do love coastal cities. Yeah, I think I want to settle right here on this tile. I keep trying to like put pins on tiles, but you can't do that in this game anymore. I really quite enjoyed the pinning. Oh, that's so many dudes. Oh my God. Run. Run. All right, so this is what we call the old switcheroo. You see this warrior here? You put him inside the commander. You pop out the actual warrior you want to fight with. I'm going to move my burning arrow forward. And again, most of our objective here is just to gather experience on this commander. We want to level him up for the long term and keep our settlements safe from the independent people raids. Why do you have a galley in this river? I swear to God. The independent people, they are like actual mind ninjas. They know how to mess with your brain, dude. Like you'll think like you've accounted for everything. It's like there's no way they can mess with me. And then they'll sail a galley up a navigable river and melee attack your city and like ruin your entire game plan. Okay, so mysticism is complete. We get +2 golden settlements. We have the altar. This is a card. And we also have the ability to found a pantheon. So we get a narrative choice here. The door opens. This allows us to choose a sort of a more militaristic option. This allows us to go in a more diplomatic option. This is the way I like to go. Or we could just get +1 production all settlements. I'm going to go for the influence option here. So if we become the suzerain of an independent power, we will get a bonus of influence, which is really nice. So I'm saving up resources to become friends with people. So I really want Code of Laws because the Mississippian trade unit looks insane for tempo. So I'm going to go for Code of Laws. It'll take 20 turns. Hopefully we'll be able to speed that up. And oh no, somebody got City Patron Goddess. It's so good. +3 influence on the altar is insane, dude. So sadly, we won't be able to get that. 1 of each yield on the altar is pretty good. But I should have rushed City Patron Goddess. I messed up, but I needed my army commander. And that just comes down to it. Like, if you're surrounded by aggressive things, sometimes you got to make that sacrifice, right? So I'm going to miss out on so much influence because of this. And I don't know if it was worth it. I don't think it was worth it at all, actually. But I will take God of the Sun. It's pretty reasonable. It's 1 of each yield for a building. It makes the building pretty nice and diverse in terms of the yields that it provides. First settler is out. I'm going to immediately start moving towards this settlement location so we can get it down. I'm also going to begin settling, getting another settler. We met a new civilization, and this is Amina. She looks pretty aggressive. Like she's got a blade. She looks like she wants to kick my ass, whereas my guy's like just there chilling with a nice axe. I'm like, listen, you come at me, I end you. I'm going to give her a friendly greeting. So taking a look at Amina's stats, she is way ahead on technology and culture and happiness and gold. She is absolutely rocking me. Slurp them up. We slurped them up. We got them. Now let's go head over here so we can deploy them to deal with these boats. Slurp them up, baby. And I hope this settler makes it. In Civ 7, man, they got combat strength. So it's like, if you make it, man. If you don't call on me. It's not my fault. I tried to get you there safe. All right, I'm going to move 1 tile with my commander, and I'm going to deploy a burning arrow to this tile and a burning arrow to this tile. I don't know if galleys can attack land, but we're about to find out. That could have been a completely terrible move on my part, honestly. Oh, they can. They can attack on land. Ouch. Oh no. Okay, slurp up this archer. You pause for a turn, shoot this guy. Hopefully we'll get a turn of healing on these guys. 1, 2, 3, that clears this. There's some nice resources to the north. There could be a good farming town up here. That's our main objective, is to get a lot of resources in this era. I could settle south? I don't really know any good spots there. There's a good river here to the north. Let me see, so this is definitely a city on this tile right here. This could be just a town, a little river town, little farming river town. Capture me some resources. Yeah, I might just settle like a little town here. Dedicated farming town to feed Cahokia. Then again, we got these nice cotton tiles over here, which kind of attract me. This could be an okay city too. 1, 2, 3. There's a great fishing village here eventually. I'm going to head here. Let's avoid the galleys. I'm going to purchase myself another burning arrow to help defend my city. I'm going to get to work on an altar. And I'll plop this altar right here. It's 3 food, 1 production, 1 gold, 1 science, 1 culture, 3 happiness. It's a great tile. Let's do a little search scan. What do we find? We have met Lafayette. Bonjour. I will give him a friendly greeting. All right, let's keep scanning the continent. Oh, we found the Grand Canyon. Now that's a nice one. Look at that beauty. Gorgeous. So we're going to get, this is +2 science on flat terrain in this settlement. The Grand Canyon is fabulous for science. It also gives you 2 culture and 4 happiness for every tile that you annex. Could be good for us to settle in that direction. You know, I'm tempted to incite a raid against August, but I don't think that's a useful expenditure of my influence. All right, we took a little bit of damage on our commander here, but that's fine. We're going to move forward with our burning arrow. The units inside this commander should have healed. I'm going to peel him back a tile. Shoot the melee unit. The melee unit is the one we have to worry about. So I'm going to shoot him once, and then I will shoot him again, softening him up. Responding to a diplomatic action. Amina wants to share military aid. I should have looked at this before. I can either get 2 gold per turn, and she gets combat strength, or I can get 3 combat strength for... I want to save my influence for city-states, so I'm just going to take the gold per turn for now. And Khotan has become my vassal. This would be a fantastic town, not so great a city, because it's not... Well, I guess it would eventually make a really good city, but it's a great city for the modern era, but not so good a city for the exploration era, because it doesn't have that coastal access that you would want. I guess there is a navigable river that you could use yeah, I guess actually the navigable river works. Okay, so we can go for the hill fort. The hill fort provides +2 production. It also gives +1 sight and 5 healing per turn to military units. It counts as a fortification and +6 combat strength when defending. Or we can get commanders, where heroes gain 50% more experience. We can get the flatbow, which gives +1 combat strength to ranged and siege units for every city-state we're seizing of. That could be pretty damn good for a Mississippian culture. We could also get the Fotorati. I don't know what the Fotorati is. So it looks like the Fotorati is a city-state unique infantry unit. It's 20% cheaper to purchase, but each one is slightly more expensive than the last, and it gives you +2 combat strength for each adjacent military unit. So it's just a decent military unit. Or we can get combat strength to infantry units for every city-state pursues enough. Honestly, all of these bonuses are awesome. I'm going to take flatbow because that actually sits really nicely with the army composition that I have, and also the fact that I have this unique archer. So I'm going to take flatbow. So we get +50 influence now for having done that, and we can start making friends with Dividorum. Looks like we found a Lafayette settler. People are starting to settle, so that's something we need to be aware of. Step 1 tile forward, do a scan. I believe I was going to settle here. Owie! Okay, we took a hit there, that's fine. Let's get both of our archers to shoot this galley. I'm going to deploy an archer out. I'm going to retreat my burning arrow a tile so that we can think about how we want to approach this. +6 gold per turn from Amina, or just getting the +2. I'm going to take that +2 for free because I want to save my influence for city-state stuff. Speaking of Dividorum, let's befriend you. He stopped deciding to attack me. Ooh, so the ceremonial pipe. We can get a diplomatic attribute point, which by the way is extremely good, or 25 culture, but we need to get an alliance. I'm going to try and get an alliance. So who is my best candidate for alliance right now? It's almost certainly Amina. All right, I'm going to plonk a city right here. Now this is a very greedy settlement. Like, look at the distance from my capital, but this is going to be an amazing city if I can keep it going. Gold gives you extra purchasing power towards buildings, which is fantastic in this type of town. On the other hand, Cowlin gives you a lot of food. This is now a town, and city halls or towns are kind of unique in that, oh right, I have I don't have the diplomatic point yet. Towns are kind of unique in that you can't actually build anything in them. You can either spend money to turn them into a town, or you can spend money to develop them. And I'll probably spend a little bit of money to develop them and then turn it into a town. That's kind of like the way I like to do it. Okay, writing is finished, so now we can build our library. Great science coming from that. We have a narrative choice. We can hold a festival or gain gold. Gold is hard to come by early in the game. So I'll step forward. We're ready to settle our second town. We can get a codex or influence. Oh, I'm an influence civ, baby. Amina wants open borders. I'm going to accept that. I'm going to send her open borders back. So how do I become allied? Your relationship is not good enough to form an alliance. I'm going to see if I can do a local festival with her. We could choose to master writing to get even more science and a codex. This is worth about 1 science per turn, +2 from the codex. So this is worth about 3 science per turn to do this, which would allow us to get through the rest of the science tree quite a bit faster. So I will go for the riding mastery. I think it's a pretty good move. Okay, creek is ready to grow. Oh my god, I want this mountainous tundra tile so bad. If I take just one of these, it will mean that I culture bomb the rest of them so nobody can steal them from me, which means I can go back to do some other stuff. So you can see my my 2 warriors have been healing up as I've had this military commander stationed here. Units will heal as long as the commander hasn't moved. I don't think this is a particularly advisable city location, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I definitely want to grow towards resources, ideally, so we'll start expanding that way. Things are coming along. We got our first 2 cities down. I think I could afford to go over my settlement limit, but I don't necessarily want to. I'm going to move this burning arrow over here. We have found all of the aggressive city-states this game. It's kind of scary, actually, how few regular-ass city-states we found. I don't think the commander gets experience for being shot. You can't just, like, tank damage with him, and he, like, becomes, like, hit me! And he's, like, gaining knowledge as, like, bullets are, like, entering his body. I don't think that's how it works. I definitely want this gold. That gives me, I think that's an empire-wide resource, which effectively gives me, you know, for every 100 gold I spend on a building, it's as if I spent 120. Civ players and getting their scouts killed. Name a less iconic duo. Okay, name a more iconic duo. So I messed it up. Ooh, actually the cotton is better. Let me grab that. 2 food, 2 production, hell yeah. So production in these cities is converted into gold, basically. Now we're gonna have a very hard time building urban districts to the right here, because we did settle on, it kind of sucks that I settled here, but it was strategically actually a pretty damn good move, because it blocked Rome. It blocked Rome 1, 2, 3. He would have been able to settle these tiles if I settled 1 tile to the left, but by settling here, I've basically carved out, I've basically driven a line between us using Acmonia and the Sidlia Creek. So while this tile would have been amazing for science adjacency, I'm only going to be able to put 1 building there, which is not ideal. I'm going to do military aid with her because I need to get her relationship up to form an alliance, because if I can form an alliance with her, I'll get a diplomatic attribute point, and those points are super strong. In particular, the first 2 diplomatic points you get when you're playing as Tecumseh, in my opinion, are completely busted, because you get access to this ability here, where every 100 influence you spend, it's as if you spent 150. That's insane as Tecumseh, like ridiculously good. And I'm gonna pop into Creek and I'm gonna build a brickyard. Not here, because this is a great, I think these count as mountains. So this is a great adjacency for things like certain culture buildings scale really nicely off mountains. So I'm going to try to build along this river. And as we expand this city and the number of tiles that it owns, we are going to see the cost to convert it into a city go down. But yeah, the urban part of the city is going to be to the left. The rural part's going to be to the right. I'm going to take the 20% food and the +2 gold in all settlements. That's really powerful. That's 6 gold per turn right now. I've got a narrative choice. I can get a warrior or 150 gold. I'm going to take the 150 gold because I can use that to get myself a saw pit on this, you know, no bonus adjacency tile right here. Granary will be next soon. And you can see the city now only costs 350 gold to develop. So we will turn this into a city. We will build fortifications. We will build units to defend it. I don't think Roma is going to attack fast enough to where that's going to be an issue. We have all of the buildings in our capital. I'm going to grab myself a burning arrow to send to go defend the Creek city, and probably a pair of melee units as well eventually. I'm pretty far behind in science and culture, which feels pretty okay. I don't feel dead, so I can only really afford, from a production point of view, a single commander right now. Let's shoot that spearman, and then we'll slam the spearman, and we'll keep on moving. Beautiful terrain over here. I'm worried about Rome. That's why I'm building these military units to get out there fast to defend Creek. Yeah, this is literally what I was worried about. He's preparing for the attack. Unit slurp. It's unit slurp time, and you need to get moving. Add to that army. Join the army. I need gold as soon as I can get it. I'll take a codex. It's going to be a while before we can get a more advanced military unit. I will research mastery of masonry for that combat strength and fortified districts. Yeah, I was hoping for a little bit more time. Our units aren't going to quite make it on time to defend that city. I needed time to build these ancient walls. If we can get the ancient walls up before he attacks, I think we'll be okay. The problem is we don't even have the alliance with Amina. I can only hope that he's going to take some time to heal his units up before he decides to attack. A free warrior from Guthaida actually really helps, especially because it spawned in the creek, and I can start building fortifications here already. All right, army commander, go, 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 go. Look how fast that army commander is. It moved from here to here, and it's got 4 units packed up into it, ready to defend. I'm going to start pre-building another settler. We'll go to the next turn. All right, here's the war. The die is cast. Understandable. War details. I will be able to support myself with diplomatic points. Every point of war support I have over him gives me combat strength. You can see here, he has, you know, defending in rough terrain, he has iron, he has 8 combat strength from difficulty, but because I have the military aid and I'm suzerain of a city-state, it makes my life a lot easier. I'm going to start building fortifications with this unit to defend more effectively. I'm going to step forward with this burning arrow unit and start setting fire to the tiles. We're going to grow this town, and I'm going to grow away from him so he can't pillage my tiles. I'm going to grab the silver because it has a good production on it, and I'm going to use my money to build the ancient walls here, which will provide the city with the defense that it needs to not fall too easily. It'll buy me more time to get reinforcements over here. So many units here. These fortifications shouldn't take much longer to finish. It should finish next turn. I'm going to step my archer into the city center and then blast you. My commander is in position to assist the city now. All right, let's go to the next turn. Fortifications complete. So he is going to be harder to kill, but I can, here's the thing. I can put a new unit into that fortified tile. So there's oratory. Oratory is a very important one. I'm going to take out the culture from the palace. I'm going to plug in oratory. +2 influence per turn is huge. I'm going to move my commander for... Oh, I messed this up a little bit. Scoop you up. Can I then deploy you back out? I can, onto this tile. I'm going to deploy an archer to this tile and an archer to this tile. Very, very tough. But we have a military commander and we have a promotion available. I'm going to grab initiative so that units that are unpacked from this commander have the ability to act. That would help us a lot in the micromanagement. I'm now going to go for earthworks. We've got our basic code of law, so they get a unique unit, and then I'm going to go for earthworks and mastery and all this sort of stuff in here. So I think I might settle right here on this flat tundra and make a fishing town to feed Cahokia with. Well, I did want to trade with Roma. I'm not going to be able to. I need to make a military unit. Let's grab some burning arrows instead of these. Okay, my poor warrior here got melee attacked, but you can see here, because he's in fortifications, because he's being defended, he's doing just fine. I'm going to tell him to encamp, to heal. Somebody built the Hanging Gardens. Another leader opposed our war, so I need to support my war. He's put 4 tokens in as well. Can I get a kill here? I can. Okay, huge. That's 5 experience. Can I get this kill using ranged attacks? Yeah, I can. I'm going to get you to heal up. I'm going to move you to here. You're going to heal up too. You stay healing. So we're holding him off pretty effectively. Classic like civilization stuff happening here. It's like, oh, you're having a really chill early game. Let me just let my closest neighbor, who's an aggressive expansionist civ, they're just going to declare war on you. No big deal, bro. Just a little war. He's moving his army commander forward, unprotected. There's masonry, so we do get +3 combat strength on fortified districts and the production on production buildings. I'm going to go for sailing next. I need that fishing key and the ability to traverse coast terrain. I do want irrigation, but I got many things that I want and need. Let's shoot this legatus for experience. You're staying fortified on that tile. I'm going to push this warrior through so he can start fortifying this resource tile. Divodurum is now chill with me, so I don't need to worry about them attacking me. And I'm going to settle a little fishing town. And look at my happiness, right? It says 28 happiness. Boom. I settled a city and now I'm down to 16 happiness. So settling a city like this above your city limit is pretty bad for your happiness. It's not the end of the world though. So we get an expansionist attribute point, I believe. I think it's related for doing more settlements than you're normally allowed, quote unquote. But this will allow us to train settlers faster, which is nice. So future cities will come out easier. I could grab the Jade, which would be a 15% gold buff. And I will, because it's 1 food, 1 production, 1 culture, which is a great tile. Also, it's resources that we can assign. And assignable resources are basically our economic victory condition. Now, I am going to want to try to build at least 3 wonders here to get a diplomatic culture point. I'll see what we can do. Are you ready to be allies yet? 54, damn. Now, I think this guy slammed my city before Divodurum became chill with me, but that's fine. All right, my enemy is retreating. We can grow the Choctaw city. I'm going to grow to this cotton because the cotton can be assigned to Appalachia Town. That will get me the first milestone in Silk Roads, which is one of the victory conditions of this era, or legacy paths. That gets me +1 economic legacy point, and then an option to get an economic attribute point, which is really nice. So the next era will be, better. I think Rome has kind of gone for this war and was not prepared for me to be able to defend myself as effectively as I am. I'm going to go trade with Khotan, and now I can finally start building fortifications on these units, or going into alert mode. You need to build fortifications as well, and I'm very much so not interested on going on the offensive. I'm very much so, I want to play chill, I want to play defensively. Okay, the Nassas River has flooded, which is the river in this city. So it did do damage to a district here. Let's repair the brickyard, and then we're going to buy the granary. Although we can convert the city to We can convert this town to a city, which I will. It's only 250 gold. So let's do it. No longer a town, is now a city. I will grow to this mountain because 2 food, 4 happiness is awesome. Amina wants open borders. I will accept. Thank you very much, Amina. That's 2 gold. I appreciate you and I love you. City-state bonus for Guthiada. Marca, +1 combat strength to infantry for every city-state pursues Renov is quite powerful. That'll help keep our infantry units strong. We have a narrative choice here. We can get influence, but we can lower all independent power relationships. I'm going to go for the influence here. I love influence heavy builds. Speaking of influence heavy builds, I want to get the monument here. We've got a 6 culture adjacency tile right there, which would be fabulous, plus the influence point, so I'm going to grab that. Yeah, there's no other really good production tiles, so we'll go for that first. Now that I have a second city, there are certain resources that are better assigned to cities other than my capital, right? So for example, gypsum gives +4 production when assigned to anything other than my capital. So I'm going to take the continent out of here, and I'm going to give Creek City both of these production resources, and then in the capital, I don't think Jade does a whole lot right now because my city doesn't make a lot of money, so I don't think Jade is important. I'll put the Cowlin back in there, plus the cotton, and we'll keep developing. But yeah, we definitely want that gypsum into the Creek City. Now, thankfully, I have a warrior here to chase off this Acmonian unit that is threatening my capital city. Incorporating city-states costs 240 influence, so we will want to keep an eye on that. We probably want to incorporate Guthiada towards the end of the era. We can spend a turn of science to gain 100 happiness towards the next celebration or gain the culture. 1 turn of science isn't that bad, actually, for that much. Okay, somebody built a terracotta army, so that wonder is gone. If I built the Great Stele right here, it would give this tile 3 adjacency bonus, which would be a really good scaling tile throughout the game. So I'm going to try to build the Great Stele, because I don't see anything else that I can try to build right now in Cahokia. And this will allow me to actually redeploy this worker to a high production tile, like this 3 production tile down here, which will shave a turn off of the Great Stele. Now, let's go trade with Guthiada. We have a merchant moving their way down there. We don't get a whole lot out of trading with them, but it's something. Rome is willing to take peace. I'm going to take that peace. I don't need to be at war. It did end up costing me a lot of Diplo favor to be in that war. All right, 6. Somebody else has built Petra. I still haven't been able to build Petra. Well, I have only played. This is only my 2nd game, so I guess that makes sense. Appalachia here, looking at the high value tiles. We are researching sailing. We could set this up as a great fishing town now. Ooh, I do want this iron though, so I'm going to expand towards it. Augustus wants to reconcile with me. I'm not going to spend resources to reconcile, but I will accept it. I actually think that war turned out incredible for me, considering how many units we managed to kill for basically no cost. I'm going to go ahead and scoop up some units to go attack Acmonia. I'll scoop them up and I'll vomit them out over here. If we could, I really don't want to clear out a quote unquote nice city state, but if I have to, I will, so that I can get a better settlement. Because I think a city like 2 tiles to the left here would just be better. Although maybe we'll make friends with them. We might farm them for experience on the commander. That at the very least feels like a good move. There's a lot of value in this library. It's a 3 food, 6 science tile on the capital city. That's from this resource adjacency. I'm going to pop down that library. That's super good. Roma actually does have good trade opportunities, so I'm going to redirect my trader to Roma. So there's sailing. We have access to the fishing key, the galley, embarkation, and food on fishing boats. Let's move this forward. Ooh, I will take this. +3 combat strength on our units is really strong. Plus supporting an endeavor with her gets her... Oh, we can form an alliance. Boom. So I formed an alliance with her, which allowed me to complete the ceremonial pipe, getting me a diplomatic attribute point, meaning I can come down here, and now my influence is a lot more valuable when it's aimed at city-states, which is incredible. We could go for currency. This would allow me to get markets for gold, and I would love our gold income to increase. However, irrigation only takes 8 turns, and it will increase our settlement limit, and we're over our settlement limit right now. And it's not ideal to be over your settlement limit if you don't have to be. So we have unlocked the pot cop, base yield +1 gold and +1 food for each adjacent resource. It's our unique improvement. We also get 10% production when building buildings. Awesome. We don't need to change our policies. We have a narrative choice. Emissaries from Dividorum have arrived and they're going to give me a warrior. Amazing. I've gotten so many free units from these city-states. So I do think we want to go for mastery of earthwork so we can get the monk's mount. +1 settlement limit is really nice as well. Ooh, shell-tempered pottery. All buildings receive a +1 gold adjacency for resources. That is disgustingly good. Holy crap, we want that. I like that you unlock different parts of your civilization's abilities throughout the age. This is a sea trade route to gain 3 resources. Very valuable. We'll get 75 gold up front. He will get 3 gold per turn for that, but that will... Oh, there's a great science adjacency tile right there because of all the resources. And right here, so I'll grow to that one too. Speaking of Choctaw, but I do think like building a granary to the right here and then a brickyard to the right of that. And we can start to develop this city a little bit, bring down the price of converting it to a city. Narrative choice. Ooh, an economic attribute point. Hell yeah. So +2 gold for every active trade route, or +2 gold for every civic. I'm going to go for the every active trade route, considering we have a unique trader as this civilization. Somebody else, the Greeks have started work on the Great Stelae, so I can only hope that I will beat them to that. I'm going to disperse Acmonia. Rome, you should totally settle down here. This is a great settlement location. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Let's grab that iron right there. That's 3 production for Appalachia, which is 3 gold per turn in this kind of a settlement. We could choose production in Creek. I would like to build the altar. I'll build the altar right here. Opens up some new tiles for us to annex and do stuff with. So if we click this disperse independent button, we got 100 gold and 25 experience on our leader. Plus, we've opened up some land for us to actually settle. So there are benefits towards dispersion. Significant benefits. It also got 25 experience on my army commander. Okay, I can choose a celebration. I'm gonna take 20% food so we can keep growing our cities like crazy. I will take the scout movement and sight because I still do have 3 scouts moving around out there. So definitely what I want to do is I want to come into Appalachia and I want to develop the city a little bit. So a fishing key here. It's +1 food on fishing boats. It's a warehouse building, so it's permanent. So I'll grab the fishing key there with gold. But yeah, I want to make friends with a economic city-state too. And I'll probably pump more influence into that than I would normally. All right, we got a significant blizzard. And we finished the Great Stelae. So remember, every time we finish a wonder in the city with the Great Stelae, we'll get 200 gold. 200 gold is like a crazy injection of gold. It's like a free building. The wonder movies, I find them quite pleasant. They're really cool to watch. You get like little fireworks, all sorts of cool stuff. This is kind of cool, man. I don't know. All right, earthworks. We have access to +1 settlement. We also have all buildings have gold adjacency for resources and the Monk's Mount. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, we also finished irrigation, by the way. So we get the garden, which is a food building that scales off of navigable rivers, basically a water adjacency. We also get another settlement limit, the hanging gardens, although somebody's already built the hanging gardens. So I'm going to drop tool making, and I'm going to take the shell tempered pottery. That's going to be a lot of gold, making 56 gold right now. Now we're making 76, so you can kind of see where the gold is going to be coming from. I can get 25 culture or +2 combat strength on warriors. I'm gonna take that +2 combat strength on warriors. We basically mastered the first half of the tech tree, and now we need to pick the direction we want to go. I do think currency would be really great, especially because it's going to allow us to start placing urban specialists. However, the wheel would give us access to the villa, which has a huge amount of influence on it. So I'm going to go for the wheel because I want that influence really bad. Now, in terms of civics, I'm going to go for Kanaha because I want that +2 resource capacity in the capital. Remember, the economic legacy for our civ is heavily based on resources. We need to assign 20 resources to our settlements to actually achieve that. This mine was damaged, so I'm going to pay a small amount of gold, 20 gold to repair it. We do have a 7 food garden right here. I mean, look at this potential. We absolutely need to build the Monk's Mound in this city. I will build a pot cup, and so the way that this works is it overwrites the basic improvement you have on the tile, but it doesn't get rid of it. It just sits on top of it, makes it better. So we'll get +1 food and gold from that, which is great. But yeah, we need to keep developing this city. We need the granary, we need the altar. We will get those. Takes a little bit of time, right? But this will just be a town. This town exists to feed our other towns. Oh man, look at that blizzard coming through, destroying my entire empire, but leaving production behind. 150 culture or 150 science. I'm struggling a little bit getting culture, so I'm going to take the culture here. Dividorum is our friend. I'm going to say Hillfort. I want that +2 production. That sounds sick. All right, Appalachia. Now the majority of our efforts will be directed towards these coastal tiles because they're worth 3 food each. And once the city is of a reasonable size, we will switch it back to being a fishing city. Like if we switch this to a fishing city, it takes 10 turns to grow. If we switch it to a growing town, it takes 5 turns to grow. So we want it to grow a little bit faster until it has maybe even just this ring of fishing tiles, and then it can start feeding my cities. Because right now it just doesn't make that much food, so it's not really worth it to send food to another city. In my opinion anyway. Not when we could grow the city pretty quick and then start shoving food at my other cities. I don't know, it feels better to do it this way. I don't even know where you're from, dude. Nang Tapunan? That's like, what are you do, bro? You're so far away from your homeland. Get out of there. Let's use our influence with Gungne. We'll befriend them. And in 15 turns, they will become a city-state. I may actually befriend them again to speed that up. I mean, it wants open markets. Unfortunately, I can't afford it, so I'll take the regular one. But I am happy that we are allies. Having an ally is very powerful. But you can see what I mean when I said, like, the map starts to get small. Like, it doesn't feel like there's that much distance between us anymore. Like, me and Rome, we're already butting up against each other. Ooh, Neapolis was pretty aggressively settled towards me. I'm fine with that, though, because I can still settle this tile here. And if I expand one tile to the right, with my first pop, I will pretty effectively ruin his day. Ooh, nice. A culture city-state would be amazing to befriend. I do want Gungnei to become a city-state faster, so I will support that. That'll be 9 turns now they'll come online. We are getting towards the end of the era, so we want to kind of speed things up a little bit. We should get Monk's Mound underway immediately. It's our emblematic wonder. We get 30% production towards it. It gives us a lot of resource capacity in our capital. It would be huge if we could get it. We have finished a settler, and I'm going to settle right here if I can. Oh man, you made it to the wrong neighborhood. I would love to befriend this guy though. I can see me and Rome beefing for a very long time. I'm going to make use of my army commander in what is hopefully a very clever fashion. I'm going to scoop up this settler and deploy him ready to settle next turn, which will hopefully shave a turn off of his settling, preventing Rome from scooping in up here in the north. Rome does have their tier 2 legions now. I just need to worry about that. Kanaha gives us +2 resource capacity at the capital and the gift economy. I do think the gift economy is better than scout movement, so I'm going to plug gift economy in and our gold will pop up to 98. And now that the town is taking like 10 turns to grow, I think it's better if we assign it a fishing town label, as the 20 food is being basically replicated and fed over to my other cities. You can see here, yield from a connected town +22. I don't know if Creek is also getting that benefit. No, it's not. But regardless, Appalachia now is a food town that's feeding Cahokia, which means I can grow my capital city a lot faster, meaning I have a better city. I am light on culture, however. How am I comparing? Yeah, I'm like half the culture of some of these civs, which is worrying. Oh, my capital has so much room for gold now. Yes, let's plug that jade in. So if we can get like raw gold production in the capital, we will start to see huge gold yields thanks to the jade. All right, let me pop out this settler like planned, and then they can immediately create the city. We get a narrative choice. We can get a warrior or a migrant. I'm going to get myself a warrior, and then I'm going to forward border pop my enemy Rome here, claiming these tiles. I'm going to move this archer onto the city tile. Probably going to be a farming town. It has nice resources though, but for now it's going to be a farming town. I'm feeling good about things. I do like that my capital technically has ocean access. Like, that's just amazing. Emissaries from Gungnei have pronounced us as being awesome, so we get 50 gold from that, and they're 5 turns from becoming our buddies. Let's talk to Sagunia. We'll befriend that independent. It'll take 30 turns, but we will pump some influence in there to make that go faster. All right, we'll fortify in Missouria. We will like to inject gold in there, but I'm in the process of building up Appalachia first. I would like to save up the money to convert Choctaw. I would love another army commander to protect this city, so I'm going to start developing another army commander. It'll take 10 turns. It's a long time. All right, sick. There's the wheel. So we have access to the Villa, Ballistas, which are a tier 2 antiquity siege unit. Good for attacking districts. We have access to the Chariot, which is basically a cavalry unit. Military infiltration will give us vision of enemy commanders. And the villa is awesome for influence. We're going to want those villas ASAP. When it comes to Choctaw, this city here, I'm going to go ahead and convert it to a city, permanently upgrading it so that I have full control over its construction queue. My civilization loves monuments. I need this influence, so I'm going to plonk the influence down on this tile, which will allow me to grow this city to a new tile, and I'm going to go ahead and grab some production. Although I want to avoid tiles that my capital can use, because I want my capital to be, I don't want my capital to be encroached by other cities, basically. I would like currency for the bath and the market. Food and gold are two things that I love. All right, sick. We get to choose a city-state bonus from Gungnei. We can get lapis lazuli in our capital. It's 4 production and 5% gold, or we can get 5% gold for every city-state where it's Suzerain of. That is insane, as is Tampos. Both of these are insane. I'm going to take the immediate gold boost. So we go from 110 gold up to 135. And then if we can find another economic city-state to make friends with, like Nukuleka here, we're going to be off to the races, baby. Oh, sick. We just unlocked the Majapahit civilization from having 3 naval trade routes. How are we looking on the old economic side of things? 2 more, and we get ourselves another economic legacy point. Yes. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying the crunchiness of the game a lot more than I did in my first game. First game, I was like a little bit all over the place, but now I can see the crunch. I'm in for the crunch, baby. All right, so we built our 3rd wonder? Did we build it? We completed the wonders of the ancient world. Oh no, we only need 2. So that's going to allow us to get a cultural or a diplomatic attribute point in the next era. We will get 1 cultural legacy point, so that's nice. We can avoid a dark age there. Oh yeah, look at that, the Monk's Mound, baby. +4 resource assignments in our capital. We're going to scale so damn hard off of these resource assignments. We finished the wonder we were working on, and look at that, it's a gorgeous combo. And this has actually created an amazing location for adjacency. for anything that scales off of resources. They will love this tile right here. If I could get another 2 wonders like here and here, this would become a 6 adjacency tile. There is a 7-2 garden right here. I'm going to go ahead and build that. And we can now cram a whole lot more resources into our capital, getting us another economic legacy point. And Master Caravaneer. +5 gold for every trade route in antiquity. This has unlocked the Ming by having 8 resources slotted into 1 settlement. Nice. So Nuku Leka, we want to make friends with because I want another economic city-state to be friendly with. Katana. They got there before me. We definitely want to raise this. So I'm going to send you over here to the left to become a fishing village. Now, Choctaw has completed its monument. We want the villa. We want that happiness. We definitely want our villas. There's like 7 happiness villa here with 2 influence per turn on it. I also want the villa in here. There's a 5 happiness villa with 2 food, 2 gold adjacency. That actually looks sick. We will be building that. Let me talk to Nuku Leka. I will befriend you and I will support you. So that'll be 20 turns. I'll probably want to support this maybe 2 more times because the air is, the air is churning, man. It's moving along. I know it only looks like we're 56% of the way there, but that progress can shoot up when people start finishing victory conditions. You know what I'm saying? Like Pax Imperatoria and the Great Library, like all of these things can trigger the era to end sooner. So you gotta watch out. They can end real fast before you're prepared even. And then we want to put the brickyard here for 3 food, 4 production, 3 gold. And then the saw pit as well for 3 food, 2 production, 3 gold. Would not mind building an altar of some kind somewhere. There's a nice little altar on that farm right there, boom. This is gonna be, a fort town. A trading outpost would help us with trade range. You know what, I'm gonna make this a trading outpost so that we can maybe trade up here to the north. It might not work right now, but it will eventually. And we wanna grow to those camels as fast as we can. We're also gonna need more military units here to protect this city. So I'll buy some more warriors to assign to fortifications across the front line, ideally backed up by archers. Let me buy another warrior here. Somebody already built Wei Yang Palace, which is not ideal. The Nazas Rivers has also flooded. Rome hates me. If we declared war, it would be a formal war. I'm gonna denounce his military presence. Oh! He rejected it and declared war on me. Damn. The die is cast. Well, this does open up options for me. Not that I was ready to exercise those options, but options are opened. We are gonna need to upgrade our units. So I'm gonna go for bronze working to upgrade spearmen and burning arrows. That'll take 12 turns. That is so long. Holy shit. We're also gonna need military units en masse. I can purchase them 1 per turn, which is fine. Rome is coming in with his legions. Ooh, that was a solid hit. These guys haven't finished their fortifications yet. I may have to fall back. Let's fire into the dense foliage. The fortifications are finished now. Save my money. I definitely want to build ancient walls in here. Make the city better defended. This commander has promotions. We will want to support this war pretty heavily when the time comes. Attacking, I don't think makes a huge amount of sense. My commander has a promotion. I'm gonna take Bulwark. So we build fortifications faster. This is going to be a slow grinding war. So my units will build fortifications faster and they have some extra strength when defending. I'm going to move my commander up 1 tile to provide defensive benefits to this warrior because he gives +2 combat strength to everyone. And I hope that this commander will get experience from this shot as well. I'm going to buy a ballista that will hopefully appear here. This is where I was hoping it would appear. And I can use this as a part of my second line of units. All right, we can choose a celebration. We are building a lot of buildings, but the growth is just so crazy good. I'm going to go for the buildings. Get those buildings up. I'll take tool making. That tiny bit of science does actually add up a little bit. I need this library. I need that 6 science like yesterday, so I'm going to plonk it there. It's also 3 food, 3 gold, which is kind of crazy. I hate taking production tiles from my capital. I don't want to do it. I'll grow this way instead. My main objective this war is to capture and raise Katana. Although actually, the positioning of Katana isn't the worst. So maybe we don't need to raise it. There is our militaristic Pax Imperatoria milestone complete. We gain a militaristic legacy point and we can choose between a militaristic or an expansionist point next era. We're 3 resources away from triggering the economic golden age. Silk Roads is insane, by the way. All of your cities remain cities. It's absolutely bonkers. Our villas and gardens and stuff are finishing. Accumulated influence is growing slowly. Let's see how this war shakes out. Legion retreated. I'm going to push forward a tile with my units. And we'll start building fortifications on the front line. And I'll move my burning arrows forward a tile. The problem is we have vegetation in the way that's making it hard to shoot over. We don't need to advance down here. This is the static front line. The mobile front line is up here. In fact, I don't even know if I want to advance on Neapolis. I may pull this front line back next turn and instead advance on Katana, because Katana is the city I actually want. So fortifications that aren't occupied disappear after a turn. My commander is in position to get experience from this, so we will shoot. Stay fortified, we're all good. I'll shoot with my ballista as well. One thing I hate about this system, and I didn't notice this, but I claimed this tile with this city first, which means I just took a huge chunk of the potential tiles from Cahokia, and I can't swap those back and forth anymore. Yeah, I'm learning a little bit about the game, about how to play and all that sort of stuff. Remember, again, this is only, oh, look at that, the dudes are helping, they're in! Okay, we have access to citizenship. This gives us castes for food in towns, production towards culture buildings, Wei Yang Palace, that somebody's already built, and the cultural festival. It would be nice to get entertainment, and +2 happiness in all settlements and settlement limits, so I'll start making my way up there. In Choctaw, I want to build my altar. Fantastic tile over here for the altar. Resource adjacency heaven. Let's grab these horses. Cavalry units are more strong now. I'm going to use my ranged units to harass this legion that's entering into the front line. All right, we're blasting Katana. I want this city before I declare peace. Deploy a cavalry unit here and build fortifications. Now, we're under assault here, but my commander is holding the line, generating experience. The defenses of this city have fallen. And we now have access to bronze working, giving us access to the barracks. +2 production, beautiful. We have access to spearmen as well as level 2 burning arrows. I'm going to upgrade my units along the front line. They go from 20 melee strength to 25 base melee strength as spearmen. It costs 100 gold per unit, so I'm going to focus on the active front line up, like defensive front line. All right, let's have a look here. We did just finish bronze working. We could get the arena if we wanted happiness. I'm going to go for currency because I really want to get to engineering as well. The barracks is a viable building here. That's 3 food, 5 production. That's an amazing building, so we'll get that built. Next turn, we will get a new army commander. That should increase the cost of the army commander in our capital, but not by that many turns because we actually have really good production. Yeah, brought it up to 7 turns. That's fine. Attack with our cavalry. Attack with our cavalry. We have now taken Katana, and I think this is honestly a fine city to keep. We're probably going to let Khotan expire at the end of the era and then settle somewhere on this river. Same with Dividurum, we'll resettle maybe like on this tile here to get a nice fishing village. Guthiuta can be a great actual city though, so I'll probably try to annex them before the end of the era. Nukaleka, 5 turns until you become friends. I would like Mesa Verde. Let me befriend that independent. It'll take 15 turns. I think whatever independent I had up here to the north got killed. I had one going. Narrative choice. We get 50 gold from you. Thank you very much. We will keep this settlement. That's our goal. Now our happiness is starting to go grim, but if we could talk to Rome, he might be willing to give me another city. He might be willing to give me Ravenna. And if I could get Ravenna off him, that would be huge. He's not willing to give me Ravenna. I'm going to propose this peace deal. This gets me out of the war. I stopped dealing with quite as much war weariness. My empire becomes a lot more chill. A fortified front line against Rome. Like, I've got a really nice choke point right here. 2 spearmen, 3 archers backing. I've got a really nice choke point right here with 3 spearmen, 2 archers backing. I've got an army commander in command up here. I've even got a really nice front line up here. Mostly spearmen with a catapult. Would like to get a slightly thicker front line here, but I feel like I've correctly contained my opponent. To allow myself to sim here. I mean, my culture is nothing near Rome's. Rome is always going to have an insane culture. But my science is competitive with Rome, and my culture is competitive with Ibn Battuta, who has 8 cities. So I feel like I'm not doing too bad. Also, I think Lafayette is literally being killed right now. I think he's actually dead. It's kind of an interesting outcome. We have finished researching currency, which does give us access to the market. I would maybe like to build a lighthouse. The amphitheater would give us a lot of culture, and I am struggling with culture and science here, so I think that's what we'll go for. Natchez needs to grow. It is going to be the world's premier fishing town, so keep on growing. So we pop into Natchez, and I'm going to purchase myself a Watawani. So now we can start playing around with urban specialists, which is a big deal, actually. Really good adjacency here. Look at that food. Yeah. Ooh, the Ping River flooded. Ouch. No repairs needed, though, it seems. Yeah, I know I'm suffering war weariness. I would like to peace out Lafayette, but I can't do that until next turn. Perfect. So we have access to the Oracle. We have access to City Guard. Has anyone built the Oracle? Nobody has built the Oracle. Base yield +2 culture. Not the most amazing wonder. We could choose a city-state bonus here. I think it's got to be Tampos so that we have lots of trade range. That should actually allow me to send this guy to Waset in Amina's capital to get seriously good trade routes. We want entertainment for the settlement limit. Big time. We need those settlement limits. 25 signs from Mesa Verde. Production in Cahokia. I definitely want the barracks. The 6 production barracks right there. That's an insane amount of production. Oracle is nice, but I don't think I need it. Unless, yeah, I can't really build it anywhere. I can't build it where I wanted to build it, so I'm going to build the barracks instead. That food and gold going. Choctaw, I would like to build a fishing quay, but also I want the bath. There's a 5-food bath right here. I'm gonna take it. The city can be grown. As much as I want to get these nice base yields, I think I need the science and culture from dropping citizens on top of districts right now. In particular, like, look at this 3 gold tile up here, +1 production. That's amazing. Question is, do I want to make Missouri into a city? It wouldn't be the world's most amazing city, but we could do a little bit with it. It's kind of not very useful as a trade outpost. I will buy a Watonathi to send to Rome. That's actually a pretty decent trade route. And I have an army commander for Creek. So I've got an army commander on every frontline city with Rome. And an important thing to know about army commanders too is they let you bring more units through to the end of the era. Speaking of the end of the era, we have hit the crisis. And I feel like hitting the crisis is a really good stopping point here. I feel like this is a really good preview of what the game is all about without me giving away too much about what happens later in the game and like deeper stuff and sort of meta progression. But this is what your early game is going to look like in Civilization 6. I think the only sort of preview opinion-y thing that I'm going to say here is that unlike other Civilization games, I think this one is probably the hardest Civ game to learn, because it's an entire mental shift you have to do in your head about the dance of decisions, and about how they influence not only your decisions in this era, but also your decisions in the next era, how they influence your like nearby neighbors, how they influence your victory condition. Like, I need to get 2 more resources slotted into my cities. How the hell am I going to do that? I need to get like resource buildings down. I need to build markets. I need to get all this stuff in. I'm like, where do I even get those resources from? That's why I'm sending traders. Is it even worth it for me to send traders? Will I benefit that much from the traders? Well, I guess I have the unique trader that gives me extra gold, right, when they create a trade route. So like, you go through these like series of decisions and ideas, and it's very engaging. It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. It's so different. That's the preview, and I hope that this preview shows it. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.